So I'm assuming that the people attending the webinar today have little or no familiarity with ccAdvisor. So today is really going to be a walkthrough of the functionality of the work, a how-to session essentially. I'm going to cover UI, search and browse, and the personalization of search results. The good news is ccAdvisor is not at all difficult to use. It's very straightforward and laid out very logically. And for those of you on this webinar who are already using Choice Reviews, the sister publication, you can go ahead and answer email or whatever you're going to do now, because ccAdvisor is built on the same chassis as Choice Reviews. That is, it's on the same platform, it uses the same code base. So the content, of course, is quite different and more extensive in many ways. But the functionality and the navigation is exactly the same, or virtually so, as with Choice Reviews. Before we begin, I'd like to take a minute just to walk you through, in a general way, an introduction to what ccAdvisor is, how it can be used, and who it's for. First of all, ccAdvisor is a database. It's not a series of static reviews, and it offers, as you might imagine, objective, in-depth reviews of academic databases, websites, and tools. It was designed to serve undergraduate libraries principally, but I can easily see its utility in large public libraries as well. It covers a broad spectrum of digital resources, not just subscription databases. So it includes open access materials, platforms, public websites, etc. And this selection principle, which is something that we determined at an early developmental meeting back in, I think, June of 2015, makes the work appropriate not just for acquisition, but also for use by scholars, researchers, and students. In other words, the entire academic library community. I really want to emphasize this because I think it's the most important point, or at least the point that is most often overlooked in both ccAdvisor and, for that matter, Choice Reviews. And that is that this is, in a sense, a bibliographic tool, and it can be used by all members of the academic library community, including the people on the other side of the desk. As you can see, it's a collaboration between Choice and the Charleston Company. I'm sure these organizations are well known to you. But I want to be really clear about something here at the outset, and that is that ccAdvisor is not a compilation of previously published materials, and it is not a digital version of the Charleston Advisor. It's an entirely new product, and it's available by separate subscription. Where we have used previously published reviews from the Charleston Advisor, they have been extensively updated, and of course we reformatted them to a brand new CCA template, again, which was developed in conjunction with both Choice and Charleston Company editorial staffs. The editorial work is overseen by the Charleston Company, with supplemental resources donated, I might say, by the editors here at Choice. Like the Charleston Advisor, ccAdvisor contains lengthy reviews, some of them well over 2,000 words, that are written by subject area experts, and they are peer-reviewed. And like Choice Reviews, ccAdvisor is a true database. It allows you to search, browse, filter, build lists, set alerts, all of those things. And because it's a database and not simply a digital archive of static reviews, it's easy for us to update, and the information in it can remain current through round after round of product upgrades, etc. The founding principle behind the work is that choosing digital resources, and in particular the large and expensive databases, you know which ones I mean, this process is complex and multi-layered, and unlike monographic acquisition, it cannot easily be automated. Reviews are important and sometimes even necessary for evaluating these works, because evaluating and choosing these works is very much a human process. So having reviews written by subject area experts and themselves peer-reviewed is important. The main goal of CCA, if I can call it that then, is to give you confidence that the decisions you make are supported by objective external evaluations. So if you want to boil all that down, this work gives you the information that you need to make better decisions. And these are decisions not only about what to buy, but what to use, what to avoid, and why. Okay, the introduction is over. This is what I propose doing today. We're going to walk through the main functionality of the database. We'll start with home screen and navigation bar and work our way through the various features. And at the very end, I'll show you how to start a free trial or to subscribe to ccAdvisor. This is a cursory overview, but quite frankly, what I'm going to show you today will probably account for anywhere from 80 to 90% of the things that you would normally do in a database like this. Because again, this is a very logically well-designed application. It doesn't have a lot of very complex bells and whistles. It's really tuned to the kind of work that you do. Okay, now I'm going to switch over to our website now. Give me just a moment. Okay. So you get to ccAdvisor by typing ccAdvisor.org. All of this material is in the PowerPoint presentation, and I'll be happy to share it with you. Well, the PowerPoint presentation will be available for you at the end of the presentation. And I'm going to assume for the purposes of this demo that we're inside a network at a subscribing or authenticated site. And the reason I'm going to do that is because that's the only way I can show you the full range of features that are available here. So when you type in ccAdvisor.org, you come to this page here. Let me talk for a minute about access. So this home page here is where you will do almost none of your work. It's really designed more for visual effect than anything else. It gives you a few simple filters down here and some drop downs at the top, which I'll describe in just a moment. But the point is that anyone on the university network can get to this page, go to the search box or to the filters, run a search and read a review without doing anything further, because access is by IP range. But if you want to personalize your results in any way, if you want to create a list or create an alert, and certainly if you plan to work remotely, that is to say off the network, then you're going to want to establish a child account. That is to say, an account that's a personal account of your own that is associated with the university account. And the way that you do that is, the first time, inside your network, going to log in, and you will see this page. This is where you would put your username and password after you've created the account. But if you haven't created one yet, you'll click over here. You'll enter your email address, a username, a display name, etc., a username and password, and you'll click Create an Account, and that will be that. Now, if you go to log in and use that username and password here, you can log into this service from any internet-connected device anywhere in the world. By the way, ccAdvisor has been produced using responsive design standards, so it works on tablets and on mobile devices as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do a demo login here. Excuse me just a moment. Okay. And now I'm logged in under this nom de guerre Errol here. So excuse me, this is what I use for demos. Up at the top here, let me just run you through a few basic features. Up at the top here, you have the navigation bar, and the login or the account bar here allows you to control your account information. And if you're an account administrator, you'll also be able to manage institutional information here, including page view data, which I will show you later in the webinar. You really don't need this review drop-down, but it's here largely as a courtesy. It allows you quickly to scan through the list of subject classes and to click on them to see all of the reviews in that area. It also allows you to filter by the recency of the reviews. The one thing here that's truly valuable is the review scorecard. The review scorecard is a list of all of the works that have been reviewed that appear in ccAdvisor now. And they're here. You can rearrange them alphabetically or by publisher or by score. And you can print out that list as well. The list drop-down gives you access to all of the personalized lists and alerts, etc., that you have created. That's why you have a child account. Okay, when you create a list and you go here, that's where you will find it. If you create an alert, you'll find it here. Probably the most important thing on the nav bar is the help screen, the Quick Start Guide. Virtually every feature and function in the application is described here in the Quick Start Guide with a little table of contents over here to the side and a large number of screenshots so that you can see exactly what we're talking about. And then finally over here, the ubiquitous search box. You can search any field here, but if you want to do Boolean searches without having to enter the operators, you can use the and or not here. You can also type in exact phrases without using quotation marks here. You can confine your search to the publisher or the title by clicking here. Now I'm going to go to the search results page. I'm just putting my cursor there and going into it without actually running a search, because this is where the work actually happens in ccAdvisor. This is the search results page. You can control the number of results that you get with each search or filter. By clicking here, you can get 10, 25, 50, or 75 on a page. You can sort the results by relevancy, title, publisher, etc. There's a secondary sort. You can invert the order of the sort. The really important stuff happens over here on the left, where we have the facets. And at the top, we have subject categories. And then those same subject categories repeated here under secondary categories so that you can run the Boolean search with and. The target audience can be filtered here. These are the review types, everywhere from AI databases all the way down to websites, streaming video, etc. You can filter by access type here, the date of the review here, and since each of the reviews since each of the works that are reviewed has a score, you can filter also by the score here. So let's take, for example, let's just say I want to run history and language and literature. If I click on any two of these within primary category, it's going to combine those two in an OR relationship. This tag area here shows you the filters that you've applied or the search term that you have specified. And you'll see down here the total number is 71. I'm going to clear this one. Let's say that I do history and area studies and language and literature in secondary categories. Let's do that again, language and literature. Now you see an and relationship. This is language and literature within history and area studies, and there are only 12 results. I think it's a good time now to take a look at a typical results, typical review. So we're going to look at Byzantinische bibliography, a Walter de Gruyter publication. Our reviews come in 3 layers. We call this first layer the synoptic layer, and it has some basic information, the URL, the publisher, the primary and secondary subject categories, type, etc. You'll notice as I scroll down here that each of these is changing color. That indicates to you that it's a link, and what it does essentially is if I click on ANI here, the database will rearrange itself to show you all the ANI databases, just like that. Each of the reviews then has an abstract layer, which is typically a brief paragraph that sort of gives a summary of the reviewer's assessment of the work or its contents. Also, keywords and target audience appear here. And finally, you can read the full review by clicking right here, and that comes up on a separate page because it's much longer. On the left here, you see the review categories, and these reflect the structure of the template. Going back to that meeting in May of 2015, this goes back to the template structure that we developed at our first editorial board meeting. So you can click through here and go to any of these sections, or you can simply scroll through in order like this. Here's your synoptic layer and abstract again. There's a little at-a-glance table at the top with the primary subject, the type, the audience level, etc. And then the body of the review itself. Scattered throughout, we have screenshots like that. Little author bio here. And at the bottom, the target audience, the DOI, the review date, and keywords. Then there's the scorecard. And the scorecard is a kind of a summation of the reviewer's evaluation of the work in 4 categories: content, UI, pricing, and contract options. And each of these receives a score with a brief annotation like that. And then these scores are averaged in the so-called composite score, which will appear, by the way, in this table up at the top. If we go back up here, there's the composite score there. The rubrics for each of these categories are discussed in the Quick Start Guide, and you can go here to read the criteria that we ask the reviewer to evaluate the work under. So let's go back now. Okay. Oh, finally, the gear menu. The gear menu will allow you to add something to a list, or to add to a comparison table, or in this case here, to print the review in its entirety. Okay, let's talk about some of the personalized features of the work. I'm going to clear my results here. Let's just say for a moment that I search for Civil War, which I've already done. Okay, I've put quotation marks around it because I'm looking for a string. I didn't write American, but I could have. Anyway, 24 results come back. And let's say that I want to compare 3 works because I consider them similar, and I want to see how the reviewers have evaluated them vis-a-vis one another. I can choose up to 3 works. So I'm going to choose this one, the Civil War Collection at Accessible Archives, American Civil War Letters and Diaries at Alexander Street, and I'm going to go down to the U.S. Military Academy Digital Collection. I'm going to choose those 3. And I will go to this icon here that says Create a New List. And I will name it. I'm going to name it Civil War. I'm going to call it a comparison table. I'm going to create it. What the application does is takes the scorecards from each of these 3 works and essentially lines them up next to each other, much as you can do when you visit a Best Buy site and look for a router or a television or something like that. So in each case, type, audience level, access, content, etc. Are all indicated, and you can read across, etc. Your comparison tables then are stored up here, like that, and there's Civil War that Errol just created just now. Now I'm going to go back to the search. Good. And this time, I'm going to do a filter. And I'm going to look for music, theater, and film. And I'm going to look for works that are highly rated, between 4 and 5, their composite score. Because this time, I'm going to create a list for myself. And what do we have? Excuse me. Let's try this again. music, and 4 to 5. There we are. Okay, here come 10 results. I'm going to, for the sake of the demo, select each of them, all of them, excuse me. By the way, I can expand all of them as well so I can read the abstract. I'm going to create a list. This one I'm going to call Arts. It's a regular list. And I'm going to create this list. This list, the arts, can be found here when you want to come back to it later. Okay. And now here's what I can do. Using this gear menu on the side, okay, I can edit this list. I can delete it, add the list to a group, which simply means grouping your lists under a subject category or a date category or whatever. I can download it and I can print it. But more important than any of those, I can give access to this list to other people who have created child accounts on this institutional account. So here is, I'm on the Manage User screen. Here is the list of users. Here, this is the choice account on the choice account. And I'm going to choose one of them, my friend Mark Dirks, and I can give him read privileges, modify privileges, or I can make him the owner of that list. I'm going to give him read privileges. Go down to the bottom and click Save. This will now send an email to Mark Dirks telling him that he has been given permission to look at this list. And if I had given him permission to modify or own it, he would have additional rights on that list as well. But let's suppose that you're a member of a group, and this group is meeting or convening to decide which of a number of these databases you wish to purchase. I can also create something called a card stack. That's right here. A card stack is simply a list that allows the members of the list to vote and to comment. And here again, these voting and commenting rights are governed by those people that you nominate and that have child accounts on the system. So I'm creating a card stack now called Arts. Here are the titles, which I can then edit. I can uncheck this one, or I can leave them all there. And then I can also go to the list of users down below here, and I can give voting rights or managing rights to some of them. Go down to the bottom, and we'll transition that to a card stack. So now, because I just made this card stack, there's no voting. I'm going to use our philosophy and religion ebook collection to show you exactly how this works. Okay. When you make someone a member of the card stack, they get an email that says, okay, you've been made a member of this group. Go ahead and look at the reviews and vote. You can open each of these, read the review, cast your vote, and you can also, down at the bottom, a little awkward, right? You can write comments, and you can add a comment right here. Now, I happen to be the administrator on this site, so I get to see the voting. And I can see the voting in a couple ways. First of all, I can look down here, and I can see that this has 3 yeses and 1 no, and 2 comments. And this one is 2 to 2, and this one is 1 with a comment, etc. And if I were to open any of these as the administrator, I could also, at the bottom, see, right, which of the members of this group have voted and the comments that each of them has made. And that's a card stack. The other thing that you can do, other personalized feature, is to save your searches and create an alert. So what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to look for primary source digital material that's open access. So I've applied those two filters. As you can see, primary source, open access, 9 results. Now I'm going to go to this little magnifying glass here that says Save Your Search Criteria. And I'm going to call this one, for the sake of simplicity, OA. You could write a description for each of these, but obviously I'm not going to do that now, and save it. Now, if you go up to your lists under Saved Searches, here's OA. Anytime that you click on this, it will run that search for you. But you can also tell the system to run the search automatically and to notify you every 7 or 30 days if there are any changes to the list since the last time the search was run. And that, again, is up here in Saved Searches and Alerts. So now we've covered all the personalized features. You can create a list. You could put that list in a group. I didn't do that, but I think it's pretty obvious. You can create a comparison table. You can transform your lists into polls, P-O-L-L-S, and you can create saved searches and alerts. What remains to talk about then is the administrative functions. And Errol happens to be a site administrator here. As the administrator, you can view the users at your institution, but you can also create users. You can enter the email of a colleague, assign that person a username, etc., and click Save. What you can't do here is assign them a username and password. When you click Save, that person gets an email instructing that person, or asking that person actually, to create a username and password and become a member of the group. And you would click Save to do that. And finally, you can look at page view data. Now, I am told that doing this on WebEx can be a little tricky. So I'm going to run a January through October search for choice data. It comes up as an Excel file down here, and I'm going to open this up. If it comes up blank, I can fix that, but it looks like it's not. I think I'm fine. Just a moment. Yep, looking good. So this is what the page view report looks like. Okay, it records for each of the months that I asked the number of child account users that month, the number of child account sessions, the number of anonymous sessions, how many page views, how many searches, how many reviews were read, how many were read in expanded view, and how many were read in single page view. The other thing that it does is allows you to see, for instance, the top 100 reviews that are read, the URL here, or to see all the reviews that have been read. And these are all the reviews that have been read by here at Choice since the beginning of the year. Okay, I'm not going to save that. Okay. And now, let's see. Yes. So I promised you I'd tell you how to set up a free trial or to subscribe. Choice has a website. It's choice360.org right here. Again, it's on the PowerPoint. If you go to choice360.org and you go to Products and you go to ccAdvisor, you can choose Free Trial, which will send you to a little form to fill out, or you can choose Subscribe. And that sends you to the license agreement, which you can submit. Now I'm going to stop sharing, go back to the PowerPoint. Good. Give me a second. This information is recorded here, choice360.org. Here is a customer service number to call. Rita Belasco, those of you who are Choice Review subscribers and have ever called Choice customer service know Rita. She is a delightful person to work with, and she can answer any of your questions. And that concludes the presentation because, quite frankly, there isn't anything more complex than that in this application. The point of this application is to save you time. It's to validate the judgments that you might make about digital resources. It's to allow you to make better recommendations to library patrons and ultimately better decisions in your professional life all over. And so with that, I'm going to stop and take any questions. And Mark Dirks, you can help me out here.
All right.
We're both Marks, yes.
Yes.
But one of us is taller than the other.
We're not saying which.
Yeah.
So I would encourage folks, if you do have questions, you should be able to see a little Q&A module probably along the right-hand side of your screen. And if you don't see that, you can use the chat, and I'll also be able to surface that to Mark. So we've got our first question, I think that came through a bit earlier, was from Kira, or Kyra. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. And Kira asks, is the database able to be configured via Easy Proxy?
Yes, it can. In fact, all you need to do is update your database stanzas to include our URL, http://choicereviews.org. But if you have any difficulties whatsoever doing this, please call our customer service line. The number is 860-347-6933, extension 5. Our customer service rep, Rita Belasco, will be happy to help you.
Okay. All right. And I would just encourage folks, if you do have questions, we have plenty of time here to deal with them.
Any
all right.
others?
We've got just a comment really that came through here. From Kathy, who says, really just a comment, nice to see the product. Kathy's written for ccAdvisor, but has never really seen what it looks like.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We're very pleased with it. It's simple and elegant and easy to use, and hope that people will sign up for free trials and take a look themselves.
All right. And it seems like that may be just about all the questions that we've got.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward. Is there, and it looks like you've got your email there on the screen. If folks have additional questions that come to them later, we're definitely willing to field them that way, I believe. So
by all means, write or call anytime.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Well, we will say thank you for attending today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, everybody. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.